Hello, my beautiful friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to Behind the Magic, a podcast from Aradia's Closet, where we dive deeper into the components of magic. I'm Tanya, your host. I have all kinds of things planned for you: book reviews, how-tos, and interviews with some really amazing people. So if you want to gain a little more perspective on magic, tune in each week for more. Today, I am with my good friend Stephen. We're diving into his library 10 books at a time. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, how you folks doing tonight?
First book, The Pictorial Key to the Tarot, being Fragments of a Secret Tradition Under the Veil of Divination by Arthur Edward Waite. I need to read this one. It's got
You've never come across that?
Not this particular one. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's got 78 plates illustrating the greater and lesser arcana, from designs by Pamela Coleman Smith, with an introduction and note on the tarot as a game by Gertrude Moakley.
Yeah, this is part of my, comes from my university books collection. Now, folks, you've heard me talk about university books in some of the previous podcasts. University Books published a whole bunch of classic stuff on occultism back in the beginning of the 50s, spread to the 60s and the 1970s. Most of my stuff is from the 60s and 70s. The Pictorial Key to the Tarot is the standard book of divination as far as the tarot goes. It's written by stuffy old Arthur Edward Waite, but that's okay. We can ignore some of his stuff. But the book is fully illustrated, and it runs you through the standard Rider-Waite tarot.
My favorite?
Yeah, it's the source. It really is. It's a very, very good book, and I absolutely recommend that if you don't have it, you should definitely have it, because it's one of the founding treatises of tarot reading. It's very good. It's a perennial classic, as they say.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely one for every library. So the next book we have here, A History of the Inquisition of Spain. Interesting.
Yes, that's a tough read. For real.
Yeah, just from the title I can see. By Henry Charles Lee, and it was put out in 1906 by the Macmillan Company.
Yep, 1906, a sturdy volume. Okay, so those of you who love books like I do, you go and you poke around these old used bookstores, that sort of thing. It's what I do. I dig it, you know? And so you come across a book called A History of the Inquisition in Spain. Do you really walk out of that store without this book? No, you don't. It looks good on the shelf. It really does. I mean, yeah, this is only volume 1, too. But, yeah, it's a blow-by-blow account of the Inquisition in Spain during that wicked time, or what we call the burning times. Read a long time ago. It's a collectible. It's not something that I would probably recommend for our general audience.
No, you have to really like to read.
You have to really like to read this stuff. Yeah. This is, what was that, 1906?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1906. It's in good condition for 1906. But yeah, not something I could walk out of the bookstore, used bookstore. I mean, you even have to wonder about the person who originally owned this.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot. Right?
Definitely. Yeah, it's a thick book, too. So now we have a really cool
also
book.
Doubles as a weapon.
Yeah, a paperweight. So here's a really cool book, Ceremonial Black Magic. Wow.
Don't be fooled, folks. It's another Edward Waite book. It was originally called, I think, The Complete Book of Black Magic and of Pacts.
Of Pacts,
And I'm doing that right off the top of my head, but it's something very much like that.
It says here on the cover, Key of Solomon, 4th Book of Agrippa, Grand Grimoire, Rituals of Black Magic, The Sage of the Pyramids, Preparations of the Operation, Initial Ceremonies, Manifestations of the Spirit, Rite of Conjuration, Mysteries of Infernal Evocation, Experiments of Invisibility, The Hand of Glory, and The Mirror of Solomon.
All right, we've actually covered this book before under a different title. It actually has many different titles. Good gosh, as far as I can tell, I probably own 4 or 5 copies of what was it's essentially the greatest hits of ceremonial medieval magic. It's very useful. No sensible witch or warlock in the 60s and 70s was without a copy of this. It was on all of our bookshelves back then. It's a solid collection of medieval magic. This is a bit of a worn copy, but yeah, this is This is the stuff, we've seen this before, but it's a basic grammar, which is where the word grimoire comes from, of witchcraft and ceremonial magic.
It's got some really great drawings.
It is filled, illustrated back to back. I used to love this stuff when I was a young collector. It was just amazing to see all this stuff reprinted. They even got a copy of the Baphomet of Mendes in it.
Your favorite.
That's a nice one right there, sure. So yeah, you show me something of like a book with that in it, and I go, how much do you want for it? Must have it. Yeah, this is I like to call it the greatest hits of grimoire magic.
Yeah, it's a cool looking book.
It is.
So now we have a book. I don't even know what this is. What's this say?
It appears to be Sigyn, Our Lady of the Staying Power. Well, I could use some staying power lately. I'll tell you what. I do not recommend aging, folks. I really don't.
Oh, it's for the birds.
But these are apparently a part of a collection of Scandinavian northern magic that I got into sometime in the middle of the 1990s. A lot of this is northern magic stuff. You're holding probably the second volume, which is a little more accessible. That's Freyja, Lady Freyja, Vanadis. But it's these are collections by, it teaches you basically invocations of the northern gods and goddesses. It's very good.
Norse gods and goddesses.
Norse gods and goddesses, that's right. But I never really got into this stuff. I just never did. Right? I did name one of my familiars Freyja. Beyond that, though, I just couldn't get into it.
So the first
some of it, to be quite frank with you, some of it was a little unsettling. After I learned more about it, I just was like, okay, well, that's a nice book to have, but it's about as far as it goes.
A devotional to the horse goddess of consistency.
Oh,
interesting.
Okay.
Oh, this was an interesting one. This looks like I've read this one.
I haven't.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. See, you never know what you're going to find in this library.
Yeah, I don't know why I own it. I've always been terrible with money.
But this is by Robert.
And I never learned a darn thing from, anything like that. I don't even think I read it, It's something I came across in a used bookstore. They didn't have any darn thing else, so I was like, well, maybe I can straighten myself out with Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Well, I've read it, and I thought it was great.
You did?
Yeah, Rich Dad.
Did it help you manage your money or that sort of thing?
For a bit.
For a bit, right.
Well, I have some of the principles that I remember. Mm-hmm. So, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T.
Give it your best shot.
Kiyosaki.
Yeah, that's good. I like
Kiyosaki.
that.
Well, I read it. I thought it was great, but I've seen him in a lot of shows on TV.
Well, learning seminars or something like that?
Yes. Motivational speaking.
Oh my God, no wonder I didn't read this thing. Here's a chapter. The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations.
I read it.
Oh my God, how did you manage? I'd have been bored out of my mind. Anybody out there ever take a economics class?
I have.
Oh, me too, which is why I know. And I showed up late there one morning, and the teacher looked at me and says, the late Mr. Stephen. And I looked at him and I said, yep, come to join the rest of the dead. Oh my God, no wonder I never read this thing. You ever pick up a book like that and just go, nope?
Yes, absolutely.
Nope.
But it was all the rage, and so I figured I'd read it.
A lot of people read that book.
Yeah, that's why I read it.
That's probably why I got a used copy. Mm-hmm. A lot of people said they read that book. It was in the newspapers. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Our next book, Doctoring the Devil. Notebooks of an Appalachian Conjure Man. This is by Jake Richards, author of Backwoods Witchcraft.
Is that a Weiser book?
Mm-hmm.
Huh, I figured that would be a Llewellyn. Yeah, this is a recent read. It's nice, I enjoyed it. Tells you how to make up your own protection baths, some conditionals, that sort of thing. It's kind of basic stuff.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. But it's one of these books that kind of reminds me of that stuff back in the 70s. Everybody had a grandma story back then. And this is one big, large grandma story. I learned this and that, I mean, hell, I've even got a grandma story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, So, that doesn't mean it went for a long time in my past or anything like that, but it certainly did pop up in my life later on, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, it's a good book. I recommend it if you're interested in using modern conjure or what we like to call hoodoo. I recommend Jake Richards. He's a very good writer. He's got an interesting deck of fortune-telling cards.
Really?
Yes, I can't right off the bat, I can't remember where I put them. Well, I actually hadn't put them there because you did the rearranging, so it was probably on that shelf right there.
Oh gosh, there's so much stuff in
I
here.
know, but that's cool.
So the next book that we have is How to Make and Use Magic Mirrors. It's a little tiny book here by Nigel R. Clow, put out by Wiser Books again in 1977.
Yeah, this was part of a series of these little, very small books. So it's almost like the width and length of my hand. So let's call it a handbook. How genius, right?
Eureka.
But yeah, this actually tells you how to go about making a scrying tool. It's not particularly difficult. You're going to need some carpenter skills, though. That's to be sure. I have none. I'm the kind of guy, you give me a screwdriver, I can screw up anything. I guarantee you. So, no. It was a nice read. I enjoyed it. If you're interested in making your own scrying tools, I highly recommend it. Even if you if you're not particularly interested in it, you'll enjoy the enthusiasm of the author. He never drops a beat. He is on it. He clearly practices this stuff, and he gets results. He does.
Well, it looks like a quick read. It's just a lot of work, huh?
Yes, it is a lot of manual works, and yours truly is not fond of manual labor.
Right? I always say anything worth doing is worth paying someone to do it.
Exactly. Thank you. I love that. Can you mind if I use it?
So here, the next book we have is The Way of Tarot, the spiritual teacher in the cards.
Yeah, Alejandro Jodorowsky. He made several. He's a South American filmmaker, and he was fascinated with the tarot. He even went back and rescued one of the early Marseille tarots, and he republished it. And if you're a tarot collector, you must have this deck. There's simply no other way around it. You must have this deck, and you should have his book because it is amazing. It will, I swear to you, it will open your mind to the possibilities of using the tarot. And it is a spiritual teacher. I remember one author saying that being proficient at tarot is like having an older, wiser friend.
I like that.
Yeah, it is. You can always depend when you're perfectly perplexed about your next step. What about that deck of tarot cards?
Yeah.
Right? And do some little research on Alejandro Jodorowsky. He was a brilliant, it's written with Marianne Costa too, so let's give her due credit. But I remember it's an easy book to read because it's just next level stuff. It really is. I think the fact is, I think that you'll see a lot if you look into, he's like an alternative filmmaker, right? Midnight movies, stuff like this. Can't name anything right offhand, but his stuff is well worth looking into. And certainly The Way of the Tarot, the spiritual teacher in the cards, should have a worthy place on your bookshelf because it is quite brilliant.
Yeah, so the
last
book we have is The Secret Temple by Robert Wang, put out by Mojo Noni Books.
This is one I got a long time ago. This is basically how to create a compact temple in your home that's fairly discreet. It teaches you how to make all the signs, sigils, this is Golden Dawn stuff. It teaches you how to make that, and labor intensive. Naturally, I never applied myself to it. At that time, I was fortunate enough to find that I was heavily involved in high magic during the the early 2000s. I was hanging out with a couple of guys who were really into Golden Dawn style magic and the OTO. Crowley stuff, but it's basically a large cabinet that you can open, and there's an altar inside. The banners of the directions are there, and the whole candle thing comes out, the altar comes out. That shows you how to make this altar for Golden Dawn magic. That you can build another cabinet, put the smaller cabinet, which is the altar, into the big cabinet. But it's nice, it's collectible. It shows you how to create the banners of the East and West, that sort of thing. Labor intensive, nice to have, but I'm not doing it.
Definitely labor intensive, but I love the pictures because they're actual pictures, not just diagrams.
Right, they're very nice. I was fortunate at the time. I found a lot of my stuff on eBay as far as high magic goes, that sort of thing. Victor has a fine hand. Victor's a friend and working partner of ours, and he has a fine hand, and he created me a wonderful Pinnacle of the Earth and a air dagger.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, those are treasured parts of my collection.
Mm-hmm.
A little on the dusty side lately, but we're going to get back to it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Loads of fun. Thank you so much for joining me again today, Stephen.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm enjoying this experience. I hope you all are too, and I hope you'll tune in again the